You decide that you want to practice semen retention or nofap, you hop on this journey, and what happens? You relapse. Shit, it's pretty much inevitable, guys. We're all gonna relapse at some point. And what's going to happen? A lot of times you're going to feel really bad about yourself. You're going to feel guilty and you feel as if all the benefits you've just gained are going to be gone. In this video, we're going to go over why the relapse doesn't necessarily mean you've lost all the benefits. You realize that all the dirty websites aren't good for you and you really start to understand and realize the drastic benefits of this practice. So you decide to hop on this practice. What's going to happen is that you are going to relapse, right? I would say that 99% of men, 99.9% of men, starting off in this journey, including me, you will relapse at some point. It's going to happen. And I see a lot of men get truly depressed about this, right? Because whenever they relapse, they feel so guilty and they now feel even worse about themselves. Because prior to this, they weren't even aware that doing this was necessarily very harming to them. So they didn't feel as guilty. But once you really start to understand what it's doing to you and that in fact you can feel a whole lot better and you can upgrade your life with this practice, you now start to feel a lot of guilt associated to a relapse. When you hop on this semen retention journey and you have just relapsed, you haven't lost all the benefits. You are still making progress. This is just part of the game. If you want to hit 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, maybe your first week of semen retention, right? It's gonna be your journey. You're gonna get there through trial and error. So the worst thing you can do is that whenever you relapse, and this pretty much happens all the time, right? We feel guilty. We feel shame. We feel these lower emotions. And what we do is we start to tell ourselves, we are guilty. We should feel this shame. And what we're doing is we're giving the small self, right, that always kept us stuck in these lower emotions, in these bad habits, all our energy. And what we're saying is, yes, it's true. I am guilty. I am guilty. And paradoxically, this is actually going to keep you stuck. And it's actually going to make it a lot more difficult to really master this practice. So the first actionable thing you can actually do is that whenever you relapse and any type of guilt starts to pop up, just observe it. Right? Just accept the fact that you feel guilty. Just accept the fact that you feel shame. Accept it fully. Accept that it sucks for a bit. What you will see is that you will be back on track so much quicker because you are no longer holding on to these guilty thoughts and guilty feelings about yourself. Because in order to really succeed at this long term, you need to truly be able to change your self-image and see yourself as someone that can do this for 6 months, that can do this all day long. The first step is to disassociate from these guilty emotions by just accepting it, but not identifying with it. And what you will see is that after a while, it becomes a lot easier to just get back on track straight away. And guess what? It's attempt number 2. And a lot of times you'll see attempt number 2, you're going to get farther ahead. And then you're going to get farther. It's like a trial and error process, guys. So just don't expect to hit 3 months the first time you try this. It's certainly possible, right? It's certainly possible, but it's pretty hard in the beginning. So it's just part of this journey. So it's very important to understand that, you know, don't beat yourself up for it too much. As long as you continue to choose to do this and you want to set new goals for yourself and you really want to do this, you haven't lost any progress, right? So let's also talk about the lost benefits. If you are on longer streaks, let's say you hit 30 days, right? And you relapse, it's not gonna feel as bad as when you, let's say you used to do it every day, right? You still have a lot more energy because let's say your tank is like 80% full, you know, one relapse might bring it back to 40 and it's going to build up again. If you do it a few times a week, it's always at 0. It might creep up to 10% and it's always at 0, right? So you're still going to feel a whole lot worse. So the longer the streak is, the less of an impact a relapse will have. Now, I do have to say that from my personal experience as well, in the first few days, you know, I would say the first 3 to 4 days, yeah, you just feel a bit off. It might take a few days, but I especially realized that back in the day, I used to do these monthly streaks just to see what would happen, right? After 4 days, the benefits would just go up very quickly again. You know, I would be back on track and feel a lot better, so much quicker, right? So that is something to really understand, that if you've been on 3 months or 6 months, you've built up a lot of sexual energy. You've built up a lot of this stuff. So one relapse isn't enough to just take it all away. Right? That's just not going to happen. Once again, in the first few days, you might not feel as good, but you will see that you will start to feel better very quickly again. And you know, as I said, it's just part of the journey, man. You're gonna relapse at some point, and over time you're gonna become so much better at this, and it's just gonna be a lot easier over time. And before you know it, you've truly mastered this. You can truly tell yourself like, hey, I'm truly in control now of my sexual energy, and it's an amazing feeling, guys. I truly hope this video helped, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.